Good morning. Welcome to the class of 2028 White Coat Ceremony for the University of Toledo College of Medicine and Life Sciences. The entering class of medical students has achieved extraordinary academic success in order to gain acceptance into the MD program. However, academic success is not enough to make a caring doctor who has a genuine concern for his or her patients as individuals. This is why the University of Toledo MD program takes a holistic admissions process that evaluates applicants based not only on their academic credentials, but also on their personal qualities, values, and contributions outside the classroom. A major reason that these students are here at the University of Toledo College of Medicine and Life Sciences is because they've demonstrated the personal values and humanistic qualities that are desired in physicians. Characteristics such as honesty and integrity, compassion and empathy, altruism, respect for others, and dedication to service. Like learning, professional development is a lifelong process. We've started to build upon these students' innate humanistic values and attitudes during this week's orientation. The culmination of orientation and the start of the new academic year is today's White Coat Ceremony. Students, the White Coat Ceremony is a symbolic one to emphasize that you are not just embarking on another educational endeavor, you're entering what is arguably the noblest of professions, where your true success will not be judged by your grades and test scores, but how you serve your fellow humans. The White Coat Ceremony is a unique opportunity for you as beginning medical students to bond with your fellow classmates, celebrating your choice of a career in medicine. The white coat is a mantle of the profession of medicine and symbolizes the compassion that your future patients will expect from you. At this time, it's my honor and privilege to introduce Dr. Imran Ali, Dean of the College of Medicine and Life Sciences. Dr. Ali.
Thank you very much, Dr. Worth. Good morning. On behalf of the University of Toledo College of Medicine and Life Sciences, I would like to extend a warm welcome to the incoming class of medical students and your family and friends. We are so pleased that you have decided to enter the profession of medicine and have chosen the University of Toledo College of Medicine for your medical education. The start of a new academic year is a time of enthusiasm, a sense of accomplishment, and high energy. We share the excitement and energy you are feeling as you embark on this journey to fulfill your dreams of becoming a physician and a doctor. So who are the class of 2028? It is the 56th entering class of our College of Medicine. The class size is 176 students that were selected from 6,146 applicants. So please do the math on that and celebrate. 33% of those are from 20 other states across the country, including 18 from Michigan, 6 from California, 6 from Illinois, and 5 from New York. 67% are from a state of Ohio, and 28% are from Northwest Ohio. You come with a wide variety of university and colleges experiences regionally as well as nationally. Academically, all of them are highly accomplished. Average GPA 3.77, average MCAT 509, 176 with bachelor's degree, 22 with master's. Average age 23 with a wide range. 47% women, 53% men. You're also joining the University of Toledo College of Medicine and Life Sciences at a very exciting time. We continue to innovate our curriculum. We enhance our clinical training opportunities and are evolving to have you a greater and richer experience and a diversity of possibilities for you to choose from. For those of you who are interested in biomedical research, that arena is also expanding exponentially. In addition, our outcomes are excellent. Our students are doing very well with the residency match. As always, this past spring, our students matched into many excellent and extremely competitive programs. Our match rates exceed the national average. Our exam scores exceed the national average. And many of our students are choosing to stay in Toledo and join our high-quality residency programs and then become faculty or practitioners in our community. More broadly, the College of Medicine has many additional opportunities for you. Those include joint degree programs like the MD-JD program, MD-PhD, MD-MBA, MD Masters in Public Health, and many others. A number of students have availed those opportunities. Most importantly, the University of Toledo College of Medicine and Life Sciences is a family of fully committed staff, faculty, and students who will help you achieve your full potential. Congratulations and welcome to you all. At this time, it is my extreme pleasure to introduce Dr. Sharon Thomas, Vice President of the College of Medicine and Life Sciences Alumni Affiliate. Dr. Thomas.
Good morning, class of 2028. Your University of Toledo Alumni Association and the College of Medicine and Life Sciences Alumni Affiliate are pleased to be a part of today's ceremony and honored to present these white coats to you. The stethoscopes you received earlier this week are gifts from our alumni as well. The Alumni Association and the College of Medicine Affiliate will be with you as you help to improve the human condition. Please let us know how we can assist you during the next 4 years and beyond. On behalf of the more than 9,000 alumni of the College of Medicine and Life Sciences, we extend our very best wishes to you and your families on this special day. Welcome.
Part of the tradition of the white coat ceremony is to present gifts to the incoming class to remind you of the responsibilities of the profession you have chosen for your life's work. As you just heard from Dr. Thomas, the University of Toledo College of Medicine and Life Sciences Alumni Affiliate has generously provided the white coats for each student. In addition, each coat has a Keeping Healthcare Human lapel pin with a gold Mobius loop on the pin, which represents the critical bond between clinician and patient that is at the heart of compassionate care. The pins serve as a visual reminder to students that to deliver the best care to their patients, compassion and empathy must be the hallmark of their clinical practice. The pins are a gift from the Arnold P. Gold Foundation, a public foundation dedicated to fostering humanism in medicine. And they also were the initiators of the first white coat ceremony back in 1993. So at this time, I will call each student's name and have you come forward to the center of the stage where you'll be cloaked with your first white coat. Dr. Mohammed Musa, Assistant Dean for Student Affairs, Dr. Sharon Thomas, Vice President of the College of Medicine and Life Sciences Alumni Affiliate, and Dr. Thomas Soderman, Associate Dean for Student Affairs, will cloak the entering students. There is a professional photographer who will then take an individual photo of each student with Dr. Ali that will be available for purchase online. Ravid Ahmed. Good morning. Ranveer Ajmal. Yusuf Alam. Good. Jason Albana. Hannah Almley. Grace Arcuri. Vivek Aslote. Sarah Atala. Noah Avendano. Rafia Beg. Annika Banerjee. Evan Benson. Shreya Bhupathi. Benjamin Besezi. Nicholas Biddle. Abigail Boateng. Sophia Buyajian. Gabriel Bonassi. Emma Bova. Renee Brown. Aiden Butler. Xavier Calicdon. Kate Carpenter. Dakota Cecil. Stephen Chen. Justin Chen. Nicole Cheng. Soli Chian. Karen Chu. Meredith Walkowski-Sitkowski. Colette Cooper. Kennedy Couch. Zachary Crow. Alaish Dasani. Anoushka Dasi. Lindsay Davidson. Tarek Davaluri. Rohan Desarapu. Good morning. Bo DeVries. Allison Dybel. Shane Donahue. Samuel Dries. Andrew Edgington. John Edgerizi. Andrew Eicher. Salman Ilahi. Sandra Elderi. Khalil Elderi. Darina Alfar. Adam Gaskins. Motomi Emmanuel. Ali Faki. Miles Fern. Dennis Filatov. Macy Fillinger. Lucas Flanagan. Julia Foos. Stephen Franks. Jeremy Funk. Paul Gabriel. John Gasatua. Faith George. Mega Gurn. Maya Gurn. Emily Gong. Megan Good. Allison Gottschall. Lucas Gregilla. Andrew Gruber. Mac Gunther. Pranav Guntulu. Gunturu. Nicole Haideri. Mary Grace Hamlin. Margaret Hanna. Zara Hashmi. Jolie Hatfield King. Zumair Hayath. Holly Heck. Robert Heiselman. Joseph Hennon. Sarah Hodson. Wyatt Hofer. Drew Hoffman. Mulan Hua. Daniel Wynn. Amar Ifteya. Nipun Jayatisa. Benjamin Jones. Colin Jones. Omar Caffrey. Karun Kamuth. Khalil Karim. Isha Cashaboina. Ishitha Cashaboina. Nathan Kabidi. Annika Keaton. Nicholas Kenner. William Kerr. Tony Kim. Abraham Kim. Chloe Kin. Mohammed Kuziz. Trevor Lambert. Kevin Lee. Anna Grace Lilly. Kyung Lim. Gianna Lopresti. Leah Lorenz. Sarah Lux. Ishika Mahajan. Lydia Malik. Juan Carlos Martinez Flores. Dina Martini. Jelena Meda. Michael Melville. Anushri Menon. Noreen Mian. Reed Miller. Darren Miller. Michelle Moscow. Kavya Muruganantham. Samhita Nair. Ilya Nakvi. Deepati Naruka. Jack Newman. Molina Nguyen. Sean Ochiaga. Sarah Auda. Teja Paladugu. Shrey Patel. Milan Patel. Meet Patel. Caitlin Perriat. Richard Fan. Audrey Phillips. Benjamin Portelli. Priyanka Pulvender. Farzana Kurban Ali. Troy Reisner. Leo Roberts. Luke Roberts. Sarah Rares. Peyton Roth. Brendan Rubel. Rohan Sakdeva. Casey Scroggins. Isabella Seibert. Braden Seliger. Mitchell Silvernail. Catherine Simmer. Muskan Singhal. Kylie Speaker. Zachary Stevenson. Abhirami Subaya. Abhishek Subramanian. Kirthana Suhas. Shreya Surapaneni. Pavan Suresh. Jacob Tan. Andrew Theophanous. Olivia Thomas. Samantha Thomas. Gabrielle Thurston. Olivia Tagliati. Tanner Trenery. Pooja Tudi. Tone Vo. Abdullah Weku. Alyssa Wallstrom. Emily Warden. Luke Watson. Mandy Wong. Jacob Wood. Appreciate the spelling. Sydney Worth. Ki Woong Yoon. Faith Zhang. At this time, I'd like to call upon fourth-year student Nicholas Henkel, who is a representative from the University of Toledo College of Medicine and Life Sciences chapter of the Gold Humanism Honor Society, who will lead the first-year class in the recitation of the Medical Student Pledge of Ethics. Nicholas.
Good morning, everyone. It is my honor to be here today. I am so excited for all of you. Will the class of 2028 please stand? Please join me in reciting the Medical Student Pledge of Ethics found in your program. I publicly acknowledge and accept the privileges and responsibilities given to me today as a physician in training and dedicate myself to provide care to those in need. I will approach all aspects of my education with honesty and integrity, embracing opportunities to learn from my patients, teachers, and colleagues. I will always maintain the highest standards of professional conduct. I will certify only that which I have personally verified, and I will neither receive nor give unauthorized assistance on examinations. I will value the knowledge and wisdom of the physicians who have preceded me. I will recognize my weaknesses and strengths and strive to develop those qualities that will earn the respect of my patients, my colleagues, my family, and myself. I will respect the humanity, rights, and decisions of all patients and will attend to them with compassion and without bias. I will maintain patient confidentiality and be tactful in my words and actions. I will value the diversity of patients' experiences, cultures, and beliefs because it enhances my ability to care for them and enriches my education. I will not forget that there is an art to medicine as well as a science, and that warmth, sympathy, and understanding are integral to patient care. I will strive to earn the trust my patients place in me and the respect that society places upon my profession. I will recognize the privileges afforded to me as a physician in training and promise not to abuse them. Even as a student, I have a responsibility to improve the standard of health in my community, to increase access to care for the underserved, and to advance medical knowledge. As I accept these new responsibilities, I will not forget the importance of my own health and well-being. I will continue to value my relations with those who have supported me in the past and those who will share in my future. Knowing my own limitations and those of medicine, I commit myself to a lifelong journey of learning how to cure, relieve, and comfort with humility and compassion. I make these promises solemnly, freely, and upon my honor. Congratulations, everyone.
Thank you. Please take a seat. just a 20-minute speech and then classes afterwards? No, just kidding. Ladies and gentlemen, doctors-to-be, students, family, and friends, we have all witnessed a very important event today. We have observed 176 students commit themselves to a special journey of growth and discovery, the commitment to becoming a physician. The symbol of the commitment today is the donning of the white coat, as was previously stated. The white coat, as a symbol of the medical profession, has been in existence for more than a century, but the values that define our oath transcend time. Meaningful changes begin with a promise. It may be a promise to yourself, to a loved one, or to a room full of people. Just a few minutes ago, you all made a promise upon your honor in front of all these witnesses. The oath that you took speaks of accepting the privileges and responsibilities given to you today. Your vow speaks of honesty, integrity, humility, and compassion. You're committed to recognizing your strengths and weaknesses and developing the qualities that will earn the respect of others. Your promise is to all of those here with you today and to your mentors, teachers, and communities in which you will serve, and most importantly, to the patients that will rely on you and trust you with their care. A very important part of your journey is your commitment to professionalism and the highest ethical and moral standards. Character and integrity, along with hard work and perseverance, is what lead you to the best you can be. There will be multiple challenges. These next few years, you will need to work harder than you think. There is so much to learn in the practice and the art of medicine. You will also learn to live with making difficult decisions at times. To measure up to the promise you made will not be easy. But none of you would be in these seats wearing your new white coats if you were looking for easy. I thank you for your promise today to join this wonderful journey to become a physician. So enjoy the rest of the day with your friends and family. This is a celebration of a beginning of a marathon. While the journey is long and perhaps arduous at times, but you have our commitment that we will provide you with the best education and mentorship we can, and help you transition from the short white coat you will wear for the next 4 years to a long white coat that will define you for the rest of your professional life. With that, I wish to congratulate all the incoming students and your families on your magnificent achievements so far and walking this path with us. Today, together we begin a new page in our lives. Our most sincere welcome and warmest congratulations. Welcome to the family of the University of Toledo College of Medicine. Before we end, a couple of things. I want to recognize a very distinguished gentleman sitting in the front who was one of the original faculty members of what used to be the Medical College of Ohio, a beloved professor of biochemistry, who's been a mentor and a guide to thousands of students and thousands, perhaps, of faculty. So Dr. Manning, please stand up and be recognized. Thank you again for all you do for the university and the College of Medicine. So with this, we will end the program. The audience may now exit the auditorium. Students, please remain in your seats for a group photo before joining your family. And thank you and have a wonderful day and weekend.